a representative of Rasulullah. When he goes to this town, he goes to represent Rasulullah, he enters. He knows the tribe. He hates the tribe. He has a big animosity towards that tribe. What does Khalid ibn al-Walid does? He comes in, he pretends he's in his Islamic ways. The tribe, in their innocence, act good with Khalid ibn al-Walid. What does Khalid ibn al-Walid do? He begins to ransack all their houses, and he gets each one of them as prisoners, and he tells his soldiers, do with them what you want to do. Rasulullah, when he heard, he could not accept this. He said, get Khalid bin Walid away from me. Ali ibn Abi Talib, please go to these people. I cannot accept that people we go to, we've attacked their children and the ladies, and we've attacked the trees. He comes forward and he says, Ali, even if the bowl of the dog has been taken away, give them a new bowl for their dogs. That is what Rasulullah was building. But that jihad is the lower jihad. Because the major jihad, as Rasulullah said, is what? Is the jihad of the self. That is what is seen as the greatest jihad. When a person can mix in his character two things, the sword and the self. Ali ibn Abi Talib shows it in Khandaq, that he approaches a battle in which way? Amr ibn Wid is the master of the lions of Arabia. Notice, brothers and sisters, I can come and kill many people with a sword. I can do a suicide bomb in Iraq and kill people and become a martyr. But if I don't have the akhlaq in me, when I speak about people, that means I've achieved nothing with the sword. Ali ibn Abi Talib in Khandaq, Amr ibn Wid comes out, he says, I am the one who wrestles with the lions. Imagine, as your hobby you wrestle with lions. What type of strength must you have? To which Amir al-Mu'mineen, he comes out, Amr ibn Wid says, what's your name? He says, Ana Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the reply, what is the reply? He says, I will not kill you. Why? Because your father, Abu Talib, was a good friend of mine, I won't kill you. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he replies, but I will kill you, because you're an enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the criteria. They go into battle. Look at jihad al-nafs, jihad al-akbar, wa jihad al-asghar, all coming in one human being. In one human being. Because if I can fight with the sword, I must also establish akhlaq on the battlefield as well. True? When he fights him, there is a moment he walks away from the battle. And when he walks away from the battle, the people come to him, and he has come back with Amr ibn Wid, he's killed him. The people come to him, they say, Ali, there was a moment you walked away, what happened? He said, when I was striking Amr ibn Wid, what happened was that he spat at me. Look at the working of jihad in nafs. That although I could have struck him there, I do not strike a man who makes Ali ibn Abi Talib angry. I only strike a man who has angered Allah. If I struck him there and then, it would have been because of my anger. But I do not strike someone when I am angry. And therefore, it is narrated that Amr ibn Wid's sister, she was sitting in the back. When she heard that her brother was killed, she began to cry. And she said, who is it that has killed my brother? And the reply came, a valiant warrior named Ali ibn Abi Talib. She said, she begins to cry, she goes towards her brother's body. She's still crying. She sits near her brother's body. She's still crying. She then stands up and she begins to smile. Why? Why do you smile? Your brother's just been killed. She said, I am honored that the son of Abu Talib killed my brother. Why? She said, because I know my brother, before he starts any combat, he always asks the person he is fighting that the armor that is on his body belongs to the family. If you're going to kill me, don't take my armor. And so what happened was, she says, the son of Abu Talib is truly a majestic creature. Why? Because she says, even though my brother was arrogant with him, when he struck him, he left the armor knowing that it belongs to the family, and all he wanted was to please his Lord. So here you find jihad in nafs on the battlefield, explained by our imams. And that is what Islam is. That jihad al-asghar is with the sword. Yes, you can go with the sword. But the greater jihad is that when I have the sword in my one hand, I have purity in the soul within me as well. And that's why on a night like this we remember Muslim ibn Aqil. And remember, truly a person who had both, on both counts, he was known in both ways, in establishing jihad in nafs, and establishing the greater jihad and the minor. Because for Muslim ibn Aqil, he was sent by whom? He was sent by Aba Abdullah towards Kufa. Having been sent towards Kufa for what reason? For the reason that Abu Abdullah got 18,000 or so letters telling him that we're going to be alongside you wherever you're going to fight. In some hadith it's written 25,000, in others it's written 30,000. We'll take the one which says 18,000 letters saying we are going to fight on your behalf. Muslim bin Aqil enters the land of Kufa. Brothers and sisters, you know when a person thinks it is him who has caused Abu Abdullah's death, it is extremely hard to take. Imagine you feel inside yourself you're the cause of Hussein's death. It's really difficult to take, especially if you and Abu Abdullah grew up with each other as best friends. All of you think about your best friends. Think about those who you grew up with. Imagine that you are thinking you're the cause of their death. Whether it be in a car accident, whether it be in a disease, whether it be in anything. Imagine you think you're the cause. But imagine you think you're the cause of the death of the son of Fatima al-Zahra. It becomes even harder. Muslim bin Aqil enters the land of Kufa. Having entered the land of Kufa, he notices that the governor is extremely a weak governor. He cannot help in any single way. So what does Muslim bin Aqil do? He tells the people that you have given us the pledge of allegiance. Are you honestly going to be with Abu Abdullah? Do you know why? Because he is asking from a heart that feels for Abu Abdullah. He is asking from the bottom of his heart. He says, will you be with us? They say, yes, all of us will be with you. He sends a missionary to Abu Abdullah. He says, Ya Abu Abdullah, the people of Kufa, they all invite you to come towards the way. 18,000 of them have invited you, and I take it upon myself as my responsibility to say that I am the one who is telling you to come. He looks around Kufa and he sees everyone is there. Ibn Ziyad, Yazid wants him to become the governor of Kufa. Why? Ibn Ziyad was in Basra, but then Yazid wants him to become the governor of Kufa because the governor was weak. Ibn Ziyad plays the trick. He enters Kufa dressed like Abu Abdullah. Why? Because if the people of Kufa think it's Abu Abdullah, they would think there's no problem. We will join Abu Abdullah. Ibn Ziyad enters dressed like Abu Abdullah. The people welcome him. As he enters, he goes one way and the other. He seeks the governor. He tells the governor, I have come here on behalf of Yazid. You have to move from your position. We have come with one aim, and that is to stop the mission of Hussein ibn Ali. He announces that to the people. A rumor begins to spread that Yazid is mobilizing the biggest of armies and the strongest of forces. Therefore he says what? He says, tell all the people that there are 5 flag points. If they want safety, they can go and hide on these flag points. If a person doesn't go by these flag points, we will kill him. Muslim bin Aqil at the time, he had already raised 800 dirhams in order to buy weapons for Abu Abdullah. He was buying, he was getting ready. But slowly the word was spreading in Kufa that we shouldn't fight. Let Muslim bin Aqil and Ibn Ziyad, let them fight their own fights and let them be content with their own ways. Suddenly Muslim bin Aqil, who was the governor of Kufa, who sees himself as the master of Kufa, finds that he is in a mosque and he is praying alone. He turns around from what used to be 18,000 people in the salah. He looks around and he finds that there are only 10. Ibn Ziyad, he used to be in the government, in the palace. The mosque didn't have a cover. So he noticed that Muslim bin Aqil, there was only 10 with him. Muslim bin Aqil begins to wander the streets of Kufa. He looks one way and he looks another and he is trying to find one person with him. At the back of his head is only one thing. Sukaina will go to Karbala without anyone. And it is my way that I am sending them. My daughter Hamida is only a young girl, but she's going to be an orphan in only a few days. So what he says is he's looking round. He looks round just for one supporter, but he cannot find him. He comes near a house. He sits outside the house. He is looking just to drink some water. A lady by the name of Taw'a comes out. When she comes out, she says, how may we help you? He says, do you mind just giving me some water? You see how the water is the basis of Al Muhammad in those days. Just give me some water. I just need to drink some water. And she replies, no problem. Her daughter comes out with her as well. Her daughter stands outside the house. She looks at Muslim bin Aqil. She begins to cry. She cries quite loudly. The mother comes out. She brings the water to Muslim bin Aqil, and then she looks at her daughter. She looks at her daughter crying. She says, my daughter, what's wrong? What have they done to you? What's he done to you? Tell me. She says, mother, he's done nothing wrong to me. She says, then my daughter, why do you cry? She replies, because he told me that I am a stranger in the land of Kufa with no one to look after me. At this moment the mother begins to cry. The mother looks at him. She says, what's his is your name? Tell me. He says, Ana Muslim ibn Aqil. I am Muslim ibn Aqil. She says, it is my honor and my pleasure to look after you. She allows him to come into the house. She says, I fear for you because the word is going round that people are trying to capture you. At this moment, what happens? That her son, he goes and tells Ibn Ziyad. He says, Ibn